Okay, Black Label Society, Spoke in the Wheel. This is for you, Simon, from Canada. You want to tune standard for this? This is, what I did for you is, here, I'll sit down for a second. It's 7 pages on the tabs. Of course, if there's a repeat, I just put which section, you know, that's repeating. And we have some slight variations on some of this. When it gets to the solo, which starts on page 5, what I did for you, Sandy, was I subgrouped the solo. It takes up page 5, 6, and most of page 7. And I subgrouped it into 25 subgroups. So they're set up in riff form, or you know, if you think subgroup, you can fine tune and perfect it rather than looking at that whole solo and trying it from beginning to end. Fine tune it. So that's why you'll see little numbers on there. Circled 1, that's going to be the first subgroup of the solo. Circled 2, and there's 25 of them. Okay, some are longer, some are shorter, but I think they're set up in the best way to actually learn and get it down right and the fastest. I also put where you should down pick and where you should up pick, because when something's faster, you have combinations of downs and ups. So if you don't see any downs or anything under it, it just means it's a downstroke, or you can go either way. Where you see me put the down and the up, try to follow it that way. And there's a few little things I'll explain with finger shifts and stuff like that. But anyways, this strap is so high I can't lower it. The first part, section 1, and this is going to be 4 times. And you know, work through this stuff slow. But here's what you got going on. I'll play it slowed down a little bit. And then it continues back to C, but it's different on this one. Okay, that's section 1, 4 times. So it's starting with a C major chord. So you got 3A, 2, actually you don't need the 2D yet. First finger 1B, and then third finger 3A. The reason we're not setting this down, as you'll see in a second, Zach is hammering on to make it a C major chord. So start with those 2. You're going to pick A. You'll see a line in the tabs. I think in the other custom tab, I forget which song it was, that it already has these notations. I just use the lines for a rest, letting you know that there's like a little pause in the rhythm. So A, B, G, and then when you hit the D, you want to hammer on to the 2nd fret. At that point, there's your full C major chord. And then go into the open G, 1st fret B, open G. So you have, 8 notes within this first chord. You'll see a line on the tabs, a little darker shaded. That's separating your chord groups for you. So, okay, the next one is, and you can experiment with which fingers you want to use on this one. I'm not sure which fingering I want to use. This one may seem abstract, but I'm using what's right above the fret. You know, you could go 1st and 3rd, 1st and 4th, you know, so experiment with your fingering on those. You'll gravitate towards one more than the other, I guarantee it. So 2A, 3B, that's all you need for this chord. It's called G/B. You'll go A, short rest, and then G, D, B, G, and then open A, hammer onto the 2nd fret, and then open D, and that wraps up that one. So we have, and then we move into A minor. This is 2D, 2G as well, and stop at that point because he's going to hammer on in this one as well. And that's what adds a lot of the character, I think, to this. So you'll go open A, short rest, go G, D, hit the B string and open and hammer onto the first fret. There's your A minor. So we have, making sure I'm in tune. Yeah, we're good. And then leave that down. We're going to take the pinky, go down to the 3rd fret on the high E. At that point it's called A minor 7. A minor 7. And leave everything else down. Go E, B, G. Lift your pinky off and go open E, 1st fret B. And that wraps up the A minor section of this. Try it again. Oops. I feel like I'm still out of here. There it is, that G. Okay, so your A minor. And then we got this little in-between chord. You're going to go 2A and 3E. And you'd still call this a G/B. You'll go A, hit the B and E together, and open G. Then we have C major again. Open D, do the hammer to 2. G, B, G. So that one is this. Oops. 2A. Leave that ringing. You got a short pause there and then go open G and D. 3 on the E and B. Open G. As a matter of fact, when you start that 2, you'll see the hold line above it. And like I said, that's just to show you your chord groupings and what you want to be sitting down. 'Cause you don't want to play it and go. You know what I mean? So definitely watch those hold lines. In this case, I'd probably go like that with the fingering, or you can go like that. Not really a wrong way for fingering, because everyone has their own preference. And then right here, really cool part where they go. He goes. And so before we jump into the chord, we're going to do the 2nd fret on the E, half step, bend, release. Remember, a half step is 1 fret. So you're bending it to the half step point, releasing it. That's the arrow going up and down with a half fraction. Open E, this is the start of the next chord. You'll see a hold line on that. 2A, 4D, 3B. And you're ready for all of this one. Once again, experiment with the fingerings, because I didn't write the fingerings for the chords. I might have for a couple little parts, but most of it I didn't. I'm going to leave that for you to experiment with. E, short rest. A, D, G, B, G, D. E, B, skip up to the D, back to the B, back to the D. So that one is. And then this is thrown in there really quick. It's a little tricky, the transition. 3A, slide to 5, so it's a whole step ascending slide. And then as that's ringing, hit the G and the D. So it passes, boom, like that. Okay, that's the end of section 1. That goes 4 times. You'll see double dots in there with a 4X. Okay. Lots of, well, a few little variations of the chords going on in here, but everything is notated the way Zach's playing it here. And you're going to go to C major again, and once again you can leave that middle finger off, go A, short rest. This is first thing on page 2. B, G, open D, hammer onto 2, open G, 2nd fret D, which is already there. E and B. So when you do the hammer on this part, it's not as quick. The other ones are like triplets. It's like, this one's like just straightforward. Okay, so let's play from the beginning of section 2 again. And then we're going to hit the 3rd fret A, and lift everything off except for your third finger, which is playing 3A. Go hit the A string, 3rd fret, and then go open G, D, and then he throws in this other 3-note chord. 2nd fret E, open G, open D. And those are important, but they, like I said, they pass really quick. Ah. Okay, then you'll see a star above the next part. Don't worry about that yet. There will be a point when you're looking at the tabs where it'll refer back to that. This is G major, 3E, 3B, 3E. You hit the E, short rest, then we go string 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're moving to this A7. This is really cool what he does. Experiment with the fingering again on this. It's 2D, that's all you need to start with. And go A, G, D, hit the B and hammer onto the 2nd fret. There's your A7 chord once you do that. Leave it down and hit open G, 2nd fret D. So it's, so from the G you got, and then we go to C major. That'll be, hit the A, hit the B string twice, open G, and then go A, D, G, D. And then go E, B, G, B. And then G. So it's, and then back to this one. Does it look familiar? 2E, G and D open, and then back to another variation of the G major. 3E, rest, go G, D, B, G, and then open A, hammer onto 2, and open D. So that's, and then the A7 again, 2D, that's all you need to start. Go A, D, G, D, hit the B, hammer onto the 2nd fret, leave it down, go open G, and then the D. So, very cool part. Okay, that takes us to page 3. And you're on the C chord, C major, go the A, rest, B, G, and then go A, D, G, open B, 3rd fret B, leave everything down here, open G, 2D. And that's why you want to leave the stuff down in there, Sandy, because don't lift a finger unless you know you have to. That's what I'm getting at. And then E, open E, 3rd fret B, then we have to lift it because it's an open B. Next little chord chunk, we've done this before. 2E, open B, open G. And you'll see the chord hold line on that as well. Okay, G, or a form of a G here. 3E, rest. G, D, B, G, D. Open A, hammer onto 2. And then we're back to the A7. 2D is all you got to push down and go. A, D, G, D, B, hammer to 2. So open G, 2D. Back to the C major chord, go A string, rest, B, G, A, D, open G, open B, so that first string is going to be off, 3B, open G, 2D, open E, 3B, and then we have to lift that off for an open. And then we have this one again, 2E, G and D. And then this one, if you listen close, you'll hear Zach sliding up to the G chord. From around, I'd go fret 1. It's either got to be fret 1 or 2. When you pick that, you won't see a start point for the slide because he's not going, it's just sliding up to 3. So as soon as you pick, slide up there. It's not a big deal, Sandy, but I'm trying to get this, with all the right little things that Zach's throwing in there, and he is doing that. Once you're there, go 3B, open G, high E open, and then we have a change up here. Leave the 3rd fret on the B down and go 2 on the low E, B, open G, and then go open E, leave that 3rd fret on the B. So open E, rest, 3B, open G, open high E. Next thing, which is a continuation of that, is 3B and open G and 4D. So those should all be ringing together. Back to the A7, played just like before. That was the... And then a high E, and then on this one, you'll hear this pull off, and it's not critical, but once again, it's in there. 3B pulling off to 2, and then pick the 2, and then open G. And then 2A, and then open G, or open B, G, and D. So it's back to the C chord, 3A, rest, 1B, open G, open D, hammer to 2, open G, 1B, open E, drop this pinky to the 3rd fret on the B, open G, 2D. That's it for that chord. And then get rid of your pinky. It's a straight C major being picked upwards. It's B, G, D, A. And then you'll see section 1, no star. There's that reference. So you're back to the beginning where you see the star. Don't play any of it for the rest of that section. And the sections are separated in parentheses, so you'll know. So where you see the no star, instead he just goes. And that's 4D, open G, 3B, open E, and just strum it. And then 3A, slide to 5, open G, open D. At that point, you're back to section 1, the very beginning, played 2 times. And then we have section 3, which is real short. It's the C major. 3A, rest. 1B, open G, open D, hammer to 2. Open G, 3A, add your pinky down to 3B, open G, 2D, open E, 3rd fret B. And most of that stuff's already sitting down ready to go. As long as you don't lift stuff that you don't have to. Because a lot of times you'll wind up having to set that finger right back down. Then we have the 2E, open G, open D. Alright, then you have section 2 one time. That moves us to the solo, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the solo. 25 subgroups for you, brother. So a line with the X will be your complete rest. If it's just a line that's ringing, the little squiggly line there is vibrato. The staple is a downstroke. The V is an upstroke. The arrow is the bend. You'll see, a lot of different stuff in here. We got slides and all that. 7G, hammer to 9, and then 8B. So I go finger 1 and 3, and then middle finger. 8, hammer to 10 on the B twice. 8 high E, vibrato, and that's subgroup number 1 of the solo, or riff number 1, or lick number 1, whatever you want to call it. Riff 2 goes like this. And something kind of interesting, man. I listened to it a few times. You'll go 7E. You're going to pick hammer to 8, pull to 7. And then pick the 7 and go 10B. And I wrote press hard and release. If you put a lot of pressure on the guitar on a string and then release it to where it's softer, it actually will push the note sharp. So push really hard and then let up the pressure a little bit. It almost sounds like a pre-bend release, but he wasn't doing that. He's just pushing really hard and releasing. That's riff 2. Okay, riff number 3, real short one. It's 4 notes. It's 8B, 9G, 8B, hammer to 10. So it's, and then riff 4, you're going to go 7th fret, G, hammer to 9. Pick the 9 twice, slide to 7. Pick the 7 2 more times, slide to 5. Pick the 5, do the octave from that, which is the 3rd fret A. Back to the octave note, the higher octave, which is 5G, sliding to 2. And this is a little weird transition here. You got to jump from that to 7D, slide to 5, and then pick 5. Okay, so we have. Oops. That's all riff 4. Riff 5, 3 notes, super easy. 7D, slide to 9, and then 7G. So we have. That's all that is. Riff 6, 7G, hammer to 9, 8B. That's it for that one. So we have. And then 8, 10, 8 on the B. That's it for riff 7. So like I said, some of them are short, some of them are long. I tried to set them up the way I thought would make the most sense. 8th fret on the high E. And let me make sure we've got everything right here. Pre-bend. So we're going to go. So the way to do this one, I need to notate the fingering. I didn't put the fingering on this, but it is important. Pinky, 10th fret, high E twice. I suppose you can go 3rd finger too. I'll let you decide on that. You'll see P dot B dot. That's a pre-bend release, half step. So you want to take the 10th fret on the B, bend it a half step. You may need to check it, you know, like match that note. Okay, so you're bending it in advance, a half step, and releasing it to its original pitch, and then pulling off to the 8th fret. It sounds like this. And snap that pull off. Make sure you snap it. 7G. Actually, that's it for riff 8. You have, and then goes. That was a whole step off. Sorry about that. 10, 10, E. And your half step pre-bend releases here. Let's see, so the next part is the 10th fret B, bend release, pull off to 8. Then we have 7G, 8B, 10th fret B, whole step bend,